everybody. Welcome. My name is Sue Borison. I am co-founder and editor of Your Teen Media. Thank you. I want to thank you for being here, and I want to thank everybody who's on the call tonight. These are our winners of Stop the Hate contest. I want to thank Tamar and Milton Maltz for their vision. They started with an extraordinary museum, the Maltz Museum, which if you haven't seen, it's in Beechwood and you should take a trip over there. It's quite remarkable. And they moved into adding this contest, Stop the Hate, which is very, very powerful as a reader of the essays and from what we hear from the kids, from the teenagers who are writing essays, submitting them. It just, these kids tonight, 11th and 12th graders, you're in for a treat. They have something to say and they give us hope. So let us start with everyone giving a very brief introduction, your name, your grade, your school, and give us the one word that describes how you felt when you were writing your essay or had finished your essay. And you have it ready on a card, so hold it up for everybody when you say that. So we're going to take the same order every time. And hold on, we're going to let McKenna join us. She is the 7th person here, and she's actually leaving a track meet right now. We're so happy you were able to make it on. And McKenna, you are going to go last after, I don't remember what order I said. Oh, okay. Jacqueline is right before. I'm just going to call on you guys. I'm not going to remember, so I'll just call on you. So Moira, can you start us off? Tell us who you are, tell us where you go to school, what your grade is, and what your word is.
Hi, I'm Moira Ackerman. I'm in 12th grade at Hudson High School, and my word was passionate when I was writing my essay.
Beautiful. Tiba?
Hi, my name is Tiba. I'm in 12th grade. I'm from Rose College and Career Academy, and my word was proud when I was writing it.
Beautiful. Thank you. Jacqueline?
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Hudak, and I'm an 11th grader at Lakewood High School, and my word was empowered.
McKenna doesn't have her note card with her, so we're just going to hear her tell us.
Hi, my name is McKenna Roy. I'm a senior at Mayfield High School. I'll be attending The Ohio State University, and my word was hopeful. When I finished my essay, I felt hopeful. Just pretend I have it here.
Okay, Marasia?
Hello, I'm Marasia Moss, and I attend Jackson High School in Northeast Ohio, and I'm in 12th grade currently. And when I was writing my essay, I felt relieved.
I would think I would feel that way also. Thank you. Okay, Sanjana.
Hi, I'm Sanjana Kadiyar. I'm a junior at Strongsville High School, and my word was also empowered.
Great. Okay, Lizzie.
Hi, my name is Lizzie Huang. I'm an 11th grader at Shaver Heights High School, and my word was invigorated.
These are beautiful. Great way to start. Thank you, guys. And the next question, I asked this question because we need a little background of why you wrote the essay, and we don't have enough time to have every one of you read it, although I wish we did because they are so powerful. So let's start with what prompted you to write the essay, and we'll see if you guys can remember the order you went in, and if not, I'll jump in. But we're going to start with Moira and go the same order.
I decided to write my essay because I wanted to express my frustration with how individuals with disabilities are treated in our society, and especially in my school. I thought writing this essay would inform people about the injustice these people faced. And so I thought putting my expression to words would be the best way.
And was there an incident that happened?
Yeah, on the bus, when I was in middle school, I would hear the boys behind me talk a lot about individuals with disabilities, making fun of them and calling each other Downies as an insult to make fun of people with Down syndrome. And one day I just snapped and I just couldn't take it anymore. So I turned around and told them that was not okay.
Okay, Tiba, I think you were next.
I was encouraged actually by my teacher to write about it when she heard my story. I I wrote about it because a lot of people from different countries do experience things like that, racism and being called things that they shouldn't be and getting bullied, not knowing what's going on in their homes. And I thought, like, I should put that out there and voice it out for them to hear about it and know that they're not alone.
And did something in particular happen that prompted you to want to tell that?
Yeah, actually a lot, like with my mom, and like with my mom, it was what was happening with her, and then also me. And at school, like when I hear people talk about other people like that wear hijabs and stuff like that, and it's all built together, and I was like, you know, like this is perfect.
Jacqueline?
Yeah, so I was prompted to write write the essay from my English teacher. And when I first read the prompt, it just immediately brought me to an incident where the volleyball team I was on had an abusive coach, when it relates to like body shaming. So like it just immediately, I knew I wanted to write it, and it was important to me, and I knew it was important to a lot of friends and people in my community. So yeah, I just went for it.
Great. Okay, so Lizzie?
Yeah, so the incident that sparked my essay was the news coverage of the San Francisco grandmother getting assaulted on the street. And then later, when I found out that my younger sister was like basically bullied at school for being Asian. And I wrote the essay because I similarly felt very frustrated, and I felt frustrated about the lack of like awareness and just the neglect of hate crimes, especially towards Asians during the pandemic on the media.
Thanks. McKenna?
You called me, right? Okay, so I wrote my essay because there was an incident where I was talking about my family and everyone that I knew being deaf, and my teacher was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so sad," and I just wanted to write it so that he knew it wasn't sad and that other people would know that that kind of thing's just not sad. So.
Okay, so it was a little hard to hear you, but you wanted to talk about, say it again a little louder.
So my teacher told me how sad it was that I was deaf and my family was deaf, and I just wrote my essay so that people wouldn't think it was sad anymore, because I didn't think it was sad, so I didn't want other people to think it was sad either.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, Marasia.
Of course. So I wrote my essay because I wanted to continue the fight and spread awareness for people's voices, and then I wanted to spread awareness for my voice. So sitting back on that bus ride, like which is where the story took place in my incident, and I was continuously using my voice in middle school. So I just wanted to take that and implement that in high school and continue to use my voice.
Great. And then I think that leaves Sanjana.
Yeah, so I really wanted to write this essay because I wanted to bring awareness to a topic that really isn't candidly discussed even in the 21st century. And the Maltz Museum had provided me with a platform that encouraged me to speak out on social injustices that are often overlooked. So this was my way of using my voice to advocate for the destigmatization around menstruation.
Okay, so I want to hear a little bit more about, like, each of you told a story. And if you already feel like you told it, no need to tell it again. But a lot of you gave us like an overarching description of what prompted you to write the essay. But I think giving a context for it will really help us. So let's do the reverse order. So Sanjana, tell us what the story is.
Right. So, honestly, it wasn't a specific incident that prompted me to write this. It was more of just like an overall realization that we're still living in a society that continues to view menstruation as a taboo topic. The fact that people to this day are ashamed about candidly discussing these topics and feel the need to hide it because it isn't what's socially acceptable was what was revolting to me.
And also access, right?
Yes. The lack of access to products. And I saw that in my school, which is what I talked about in my essay as well.
Great. Marasia?
Of course. So in middle school, like a noose was wrapped around my neck, and I was actually choked on the bus ride. So after that incident, like I spoke out and I did everything that a sixth grader at my age would have thought to done. And and everyone around me, at least like in my school district, didn't really listen to my voice. So I just kind of felt like isolated. So I just wanted to um, just continue to use my voice until someone heard it. And then that someone was actually an organization called Stop the Hate. So I'm very glad that someone actually listened to my voice.
We are too. We really are. Okay, McKenna.
First, can you guys hear me? I know.
McKenna, there's too much background noise. It's too hard to hear. See if you want to see if you can put your phone up to your ear.
Yeah, hold on. Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay, so I wrote my essay. So the call to action that I actually did that before the incident happened, where my teacher was like, "Oh, that's so sad," and I didn't put two and two together. So the thing I did, I created simulations of different disabilities so that people could understand us and figure out that's where I take. So what my teacher
Okay,
said,
so we're having trouble hearing you, McKenna. So I'm going to tell your story for you a little bit if you want to put it on mute. And as I said before, McKenna's on a bus coming home from a track meet that ran late, and we want to hear her story. So McKenna was responding. Well, she did this before. I don't remember what this is, but she's responding to a sense that people have when they hear that she's deaf, of feeling badly for her. And she wants none of us to react that way, which I think it's a really beautiful story to tell all of us, a cautionary tale that feeling pity for someone else, whatever their experience is not going to help that person. It's going to harm them. So when you get to a place where you can join us, just unmute yourself if it gets quiet, and you'll jump in with whatever you want to say. So who hasn't gone yet? I can't remember. Okay, so Lizzie, let's go to you.
Yeah, so basically, like during the pandemic, Asian hate crimes rose a lot because of COVID, and so there was this incident in San Francisco, and similarly in a lot of places in California and big cities where like Asian Americans were repeatedly getting assaulted for the pandemic and being like scapegoated for it. And so obviously like during the pandemic it was very hard for me to like go out and like advocate that way, and I just felt a lot of frustration build up in me, and it kind of like broke after reading so much over and over and over again. And it also was very frustrating because then my sister went back to in-person school, and she was the subject of like hate speech, and it was like frustrating for me that it wasn't in the news, even though like Asian hate crimes were still happening. And so I wanted to do something about it.
Great, thanks. Moira?
I decided to write this because of an incident, just small incidents, like people joking about having a disability, or like talking about the short bus and how that's for people who have a disability, and calling each other downy and all of that. And I think I couldn't take it anymore, hearing all of those comments and everything. So I felt like I needed to say something.
And what makes it particularly hard for you?
I have a sister who has Down syndrome, so it hits close to home. And like I was surrounded with all of her friends growing up and everything. Everyone in my life has a disability in some way or another, and I just feel so passionately for those people, and I don't want to hear them get hurt.
Thank you. Tiba?
The incident that happened with me was my mom. She was getting abused, and I had to watch that because I was always around and everything. And something that I had to do was basically stand up for her because she didn't know how to stand up for herself. So one thing I could have done, I did do actually, was I made sure to call the cops, and I told them what I saw, what I heard, and it went from there.
Wow, brave, very brave. Jacqueline?
So my essay was about body positivity as it relates to female athletes, and the specific incident that sparked me was that our volleyball coach really, it was like our first time meeting him, and he lined us up on the baseline by height and weight and told us who would be on the varsity team solely based off that without ever picking up a volleyball. And it struck close to home because that's a lot of what I do. It's a lot of what takes up my time. So it really just started to drive my passion to advocate for it and really just spread the message that you should be confident no matter what you look like.
Yeah, that's an outrageous story. That is really an outrageous story. Okay, so my next question is, I know this was part of the essay that you took action. So I'm going to do this one differently. Raise your hand if you want to answer the question, if you have something that you didn't already share about what your next step was. So you witnessed something or you experienced something personally, and then you did something in response. So Jacqueline.
So at first, our first couple like open gyms and practices, I really didn't do anything about it because like when you're in that abusive relationship, like I didn't really see that it was wrong. I was just so focused on surviving and not being a target and kind of just getting by every day, every practice. But then it got to the point where I was like kind of just woke up and I was like, this can't be right. He can't be doing this. So then you started setting up meetings with the principal and the athletic director. And it took a lot of time because unfortunately at first it was just called like girls creating drama. And they kept referring it to drama instead of a real issue. So finally we got a town hall meeting and I was one of the few players that attended that. So it took a lot of time and meeting with the administration, but at the end we got the result we wanted.
That's great. That's fantastic. Okay, McKenna. We'll come back to you in a minute. Okay, Sanjana.
So I noticed the lack of free menstrual products in my school, so I decided to run a 2-week-long menstrual product drive, and in total we collected 881 products, which we all donated to a local women's shelter for battered women.
That's amazing. And you're still working to change things, right?
Yes, yes.
Fantastic. Okay, anyone else? Okay, Lizzie?
Yeah, so because like we were pretty much virtual for a couple years, I decided to go about it differently. I'm in my orchestra class at school, and I play violin, so I asked a couple of my friends and I to kind of compile like this like music, these 2 pieces of music to dedicate to the COVID relief effort, and we sent them to hospitals, and it was kind of our way of showing like empathy and compassion towards others, like in response to hate. And my sisters and I also created a holiday album and posted online, and we tried to basically like spread love that way during the pandemic, which was just spurring up so much hate and just unnecessary division. And so that was kind of my way of like being virtual but still trying to make a difference. And so I'm still looking for creative ways to use music to kind of bridge that disconnect.
I just think of Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high. That's such a moment. So I hope you got a lot of views and interest in what you were putting together, but it's beautiful. McKenna, do you have silence there? Can you do it? Okay.
It's not exactly silent, but I did write it in the chat in case it doesn't work. But I did simulations of certain disabilities, like I had people walk on rocks and blindfold themselves, and they didn't understand what it was like. And I had people put themselves in other people's shoes, and that they didn't understand. Because I think the best way to learn what people go through is to actually go through it yourself. And that's what I was trying to do there. I made the simulations so that people could experience it and understand that it's not a bad thing, it's just different.
Okay, I'm going to read it just in case you couldn't hear it. It was great, McKenna. I think that I heard it also, but you wrote it down here. My call to action was creating simulations of specific disabilities so that people could understand what it was like to live with one. And that's just so impressive. I mean, you really can't put yourself in someone else's shoes until you try it. So good for you. Excellent. Anybody else have a story they want to add to this? Okay, so next question is, how have you had, so this is like a question about being a teenager. So when you go through that stage of life, no one wants to get told they have to wear a uniform, but then almost everybody wants to wear the same jeans. So it's a little bit of, you want to make your own choice to conform. You don't want someone else to tell you you have to all look the same. So how have you found yourselves trying to conform? It can be related to your essay or just life. So Moira, let's get back to you.
My way to conform when I was younger mostly was I was scared to speak out to the boys that were like making the jokes about people with disabilities, and I just listened to them say those hurtful things instead of, because I was worried that they wouldn't be friends with me or wouldn't talk to me or think I was weird. So I just listened to them say it and I didn't say anything. And then finally I did say something, but it took a little while before I could speak up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's amazing that you did get the courage. I think it's hard. It's really hard. Okay, Tiba?
One thing was I always hid my religion and where I was from, my ethnicity, because I thought that was like, because I did get made fun of for that a lot. So I thought like if I hid it, no one would know and no one would bully me and people would want to be my friend. So that was one of them.
Tell us where you're from.
I'm from Iraq, and yeah, like my religion is like Islam, and I speak Arabic.
Okay, we're glad you shared that with us. Thank you. Jacqueline?
Yeah, so my kind of experience with conforming is I feel like we're told a lot when we're younger, just like to always be respectful and always listen to adults. And as you grow up, I think it's hard to balance being respectful versus knowing when someone is wrong. So as it relates to my essay, at first, like I really did stay quiet to the coach because I was always grown up in a household where adults were right. And so then finally, like after enough of hearing those insults and stuff, I knew it'd be scary, but I had to speak out on it. So it was definitely difficult, and it honestly felt odd because I was going against someone that was older than me. But in the end, I was glad I did it.
That's such a tough balance because we do tell kids all the time, like have respect for the adults in your life, but not always. So you called it right. That's awesome. Okay, McKenna, I'm going to read yours unless you think you can get quiet. I'll read it for you. So McKenna says, I always felt like I had to hide my hearing aids as a kid. So once I got older, I had to learn to love myself for who I was. And it was really hard to try and learn how to be okay with something that other people didn't like. That's pretty powerful. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so Sanjana?
So I've actually never found myself trying to conform. I've always been confident about me being on my period or something, but I have seen other menstruators feeling the need that they have to hide what they're going through. So I'm trying my best to advocate for them so they don't have to conform to society's expectations of what you have to do when you're on your period.
Wow. Okay, that's great. Marasia?
Hello. At the time, I was conforming by trying to trust adults around me and then trust administrators. And kind of like what Jacqueline said, it was kind of hard to like go against like the traditional views and the traditional things that we are taught as kids, like, respect your elders, do not go against the current. And so I kind of had to speak out and go against the current. So it was hard at the time, but I'm glad I did it.
That's such an interesting topic to talk about. I think I want to do it another time to have a conversation about, what does it look like when society is telling you one thing over and over again, your parents, the school, and it just feels like you got to do something. It feels wrong. So I think it takes so much courage and bravery to go against that trend. And I'm sure in some way all of you have done that. So thank you. Thanks for sharing. Okay, who inspires you? Let's start with Lizzie.
So this is one kind of tough, but I would say my entire family does. My parents they have unwavering support for me, and they're always known to stand up for what they believe in, and they're very vocal and very passionate. My older sister, she's very like methodical. She's kind of like my rock. She's very calm and collected, and she uses reason, and I admire that a lot because sometimes I don't have that. I let my emotions kind of run me. And then my younger sister, who I definitely admire, maybe even the most, because she just has such a youthful outlook on life. She's still very young, and so sometimes like seeing her experience life and like watching her and her opinions and hearing her opinions on how like the world is to a young child can be very refreshing, especially in such turbulent times like these. But yeah.
You've definitely got to make sure your family watches this. They're going to cry. You've got to get them on. Okay, Moira.
Like Lizzie, my family definitely inspires me, especially my oldest sister who has Down syndrome, because she is one of the happiest people I know and will not let anything bring her down. She'll always run up to any guy, even if they might not be interested in talking with her, and she'll just strike up a conversation because she loves talking to men. They're her favorite. But she doesn't have any fear that she'll get hurt, and she'll continue to do whatever she wants that makes her happy. And she's one of the kindest people I know, and she makes me scared for her because I'm worried that somebody's going to say something to her, but she just doesn't care. And I aspire to be like her, not having any care in the world, talking to whoever I want.
Wow. Does it give you a little more freedom watching her do it?
I think so, but also I'm like, I'm like, Nina, come here, please. I can't have you. I just get so scared for her. I'm like, I don't want her getting hurt. But I think so. I see her talking to men with tattoos and beards, saying that she loves their tattoos and beards. And I'm like, if we can all do that in the world, we can all compliment anyone just for anything.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Tiba?
The person that inspires me is my mom, because after everything, she's still very strong. She has everything handled now. She helps the people around her that she knows that needs the help, and it's just very encouraging.
Great. Thanks. Jacqueline?
The people that inspire me most are actually my classmates, because I'm sure like you guys like taking a lot of AP classes or advanced courses, and just having like that group of people that are pushing you outside your comfort zone, like, hey, what have you tried this? Or like, let's learn this. So they really inspire me just to be myself. And some of them like also did the Stop the Hate. So yeah, they really inspire me.
That's great. Sanjana?
My mother inspires me. You know, every day I see the drive, dedication, and passion in everything she does, like at home, at work, in the community. You know, her can-do attitude really inspires me, and the immense support she provides me just continues to like push me to seek change.
Marasia?
The people who inspire me are the participants in the diversity club I founded at my high school. They are just amazing individuals. They are changing, like in reforming my school, and then also trying to reform this community as well. So they are just amazing individuals. So very
How many
happy to-
people are in this? Is it a club?
Yeah, I founded a diversity club at my high school. It's about 30 participants. So
Go you. That's amazing.
Thank you.
All right, McKenna, should I read your answer? Or you want to say it?
Is it quiet enough yet, or
A lot of background.
you can read it?
I'll read it. Okay, my mom this is from McKenna. My mom inspires me. She is a sign language interpreter for Cleveland schools, and her students do so well because of her. Her job is not easy, but she loves the challenge, and she loves helping kids who aren't as fortunate as I am. I hope to be like her someday. Okay, guys, that was so touching. And anyone you mentioned, you should share the link with them, because you know, we really don't get called out enough for good things that we do and people who love us, and make someone's day, share it with them. Okay. So we talked about your essays earlier. I asked you in advance so you could pick out your favorite line in your essay. So let's go backwards. We'll start with, I've got to give McKenna time to type it. So we'll start with Sanjana.
So the favorite line in my essay was, "Why is it shamed upon to discuss normal and healthy topics about our evolving bodies?"
And do you have an answer for that? Why?
Honestly,
Okay.
I'm still trying to answer that myself, you know?
Yeah, you're going to get there. I can't wait. Marasia.
So my favorite line for my story was at a young age, I was forced to realize the world was still cruel, with emphasis on still, cruel to an African American girl in the 21st century.
And you're making waves. You're not sitting quietly and saying it's okay. So yay. All right. Jacqueline.
My favorite line was, "Love is the opposite of hate, and gratitude is the catalyst of change to stop that hate." And I picked it just because I don't think enough emphasis is put on practicing gratitude, because like not only is it being thankful, but it's just looking out to be thankful, like a mindful practice. And I think people would be a lot more content if they did it.
So wise. It's so true. If you shift your focus and you say like, what's going good today, right? Like that changes everything. What am I grateful for? Thank you. Tiva?
My favorite line was, "I was nervous, but my mother's courage filled me. I put my fears aside and told them everything. This was my first strike against hate, but it wouldn't be my last."
Okay, that's powerful. How old were you?
I was like 12, no, a few years ago. That was like 14 years old.
Wow. Very, very brave. Moira?
My favorite line is kind of after the retaliation I said to the boy who was making fun of people. The laughter stopped and his mouth shut.
Wow. That's impressive. Good for you. Lizzie?
My favorite line was, "Reading constantly about the brutal murders of innocent Asian Americans scapegoated for the worldwide pandemic, the growing antagonistic feelings toward my community planted the seed of worthlessness into my heart. An integral part of my identity was repeatedly being assaulted, isolated, and caged all over the big screen TVs in the country I was supposed to feel free in."
Wow. Powerful. Okay, I'm going to read McKenna's. Unless, McKenna, do you want to try? Is it still noisy? Oh, I think she's outdoors walking inside.
Yeah, no, is this okay? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, my favorite line in my essay was, "How can I change the way people think?" Because I think that's such a universal idea that we can try and take from everyone's essays, because you want to try and change the way people think, because if we don't have that mutual empathy and understanding, like, we're never going to get anywhere. So I think that's a question that I want everyone to think of.
Yeah. I think everybody touches on that question. You guys are so wise beyond your years. Really so impressive tonight. Well, tonight is not the only time you're impressive, but I'm hearing you tonight and I'm so impressed. So this question, again, can be related to your essay or can just be related to who you are and how you live in the world. What makes you proud to be you? So let's start with Moira.
What makes me proud to be me is my compassion for all people. I will always stick up for those who I feel need it the most. And the opinions of others don't make me change who I am.
Wow. That's beautiful. Okay, Sanjana.
I think what makes me proud to be me would be my optimistic outlook to make a difference and just the positive attitude I have to enjoy each day to the fullest.
Beautiful. Marasia? Sorry, I did so well. So well.
It's okay. What makes me proud to be me is just my work ethic. Anything I want in life, I just try to go out there and get it.
Fantastic. Lizzie?
What makes me proud to be me is probably like my my ability to kind of self-reflect and my willingness to change, because like I'm always looking for ways to kind of improve myself and like kind of learn about myself and learn about how I can always be a better person to other people. And I'm really proud because I'm still learning, I'm still discovering, and I think that's the most important part, like the kind of awareness of like still not knowing, like basically barely, I'm just touching the surface of Earth. So yeah.
Lovely. I didn't get to Tiva. Did I get to you? Okay, Tiva.
I would say my mindset because I'm always putting my foot forward into what needs to be done and what I want to be done to the world to change it and the like how much I can do basically. I don't know.
Beautiful. Jacqueline?
I kind of what I touched on earlier. I'm really proud and like how I've learned to be grateful for every day. And it may seem simple, but like finding the joy and just like getting to go to school or having meaningful relationships or even like having the ability to go out and exercise and be a part of the team, I feel like is taken for granted. So I'm proud that I've been able to work on that and continuously get better at it.
Beautiful. And I think McKenna's the last one. Do you want to try it? Go for it.
Yeah, I'm in a quiet place now, so it's not as bad. Um,
Great.
I think what makes me proud to be me is my willingness to like understand. I think my open mind really helps situations because there's a lot of people who are so closed-minded to different things, and I think if you just try to stay open and understand where people are coming from, it's a really valuable skill to have. So I'm grateful that I can do that and take that and use that in all the conversations that I have with everyone.
I think the theme I hear is like you are also generous. Now, you might be prompted from a negative, but you have smiles and energy to make change. And I hope that lives with you forever. I hope, in fact, this moment of writing your story and being recognized for it, when you hit those lulls in life where you're kind of like, is this doing anything? You remember this moment and you are change makers. You are making a difference and you are stopping the hate. So here's my last question. What have you learned from being part of Stop the Hate? Let's start with Jacqueline.
I think the biggest lesson I've learned is just because all of our stories are so different, it really, if you have a message and you have something that happened to you, it's worth telling because you never know who it's going to impact, if it's one person or 100. So never be afraid to just share your voice about it. I mean, I never expected to be here today, and it's really just changed my outlook on life and everything. So I'm really grateful to be a part of Stop the Hate, and I've learned a lot, and I've loved meeting everyone who's a part of it.
Thank you. Tiba?
Just like Jacqueline said, and also oh shit.
Okay, we'll go to Moira.
I agree with both of them. The importance of speaking out, and because I heard so many inspiring stories from all the other ladies here, that made me want to be better people. And without us sharing our voices, I wouldn't have had the knowledge of what others are dealing with as much. So I think it's really important to make our voices heard.
Thank you. Lizzie?
I've learned that compassion brought us all together and brings people together, not hate. And definitely like effective discussions, like all the meetings that we've had, and I've got to meet like all you cool people. It's like it's been really cool seeing like leaders like all of you guys basically making the world go round. So yeah.
Thank you. McKenna?
I think the biggest thing I've learned from this is that although there might seem to be a lot of hate in the world, there's also a lot of love, and there's a lot of ways to try and overcome the hate because we can't solve every problem, but we can work together towards a better future and not in just a, oh, I'm going to solve all these problems. That's kind of way. It's like taking things little by little, but listening to others, and I think that's a very valuable lesson I learned.
Beautiful. Okay, Sanjaya. No, I got it wrong. I was so good.
Okay.
Tell me it again.
Sanjana.
Sanjana.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I've learned just how powerful our young voices can be and how much change we can make by speaking out. You know, this whole experience is just going to stick with me for life because I can see, you know, the barriers we're breaking and the difference we're making in the world. And the bond we've all created is just so special.
Beautiful. Marasia?
Being a part of like Stop the Hate and meeting every single person that's on the meeting and then also the people that are not here today, I just learned the importance of sharing your voice and then also listening to others. So I'm really glad that Stop the Hate gave me this opportunity to sit down numerous times and listen to other people's stories and reflect on other people's stories.
Well, I'm sorry we lost Tiba. Apparently her computer crashed, but at least she got through the whole evening with us. I want to say that what it's meant to me to read your essays, I was touched by every one of them. And it gives me such hope for the future to hand over the keys to the future to you guys. And I want other people to read this. So hopefully Jessica can put the link in the chat, or someone can, so that people who are listening can go and just read the essays and feel hope and see what these young women are doing to change the world. And all because of Tamar and Milton Waltz Museum and their vision in creating Stop the Hate. So we want to thank them. We are grateful for this opportunity. And I am just so impressed with you guys. I'm going to pay attention to what you're doing in the future, because you're going to be change makers and continue to improve the world. And I hope you guys stay together with each other, because you can be resources for each other. And I mean, what's so interesting is no one's doing the same thing, but all of you. And I think it's like what McKenna said, you know, you want to make change in so many different places, and you pick one and you pick one and you pick one. And all together, the aggregate effect of all of your energy is really to make a significant change. So thank you all for being here tonight. You know, you guys are teenagers. There's a lot of things that get in the way of showing up, and it worked. It worked. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you so